Okay, so now the other distracting element here is this hair. Okay, so you see these hair frays? I think the best way to do that is actually to use the selection tool. And then because this sky is pretty neutral in one color, I'm going to select all this hair area. Okay, and just do a rough kind of selection here. Then I'm going to just paint inside this area this tone here and get rid of all that hair. Let me just subtract this area so it leaves the line of the hair. I'm going to add, hold the shift key to add on to the selection. There. Okay, I'm going to add on to this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to paint inside here. Okay, this tone here. Just select this tone. So I'm going to do this. And I'm not going to have darker color. I'm just going to do normal because I'm going to replace it. So I select that tone, right? Now I can just kind of paint in, as long as my flow is fairly low at 15%, you can kind of just fine tune. I could be a little bit of aggressive because this selection is going to prevent me from painting onto this hair here. So that's the reason why I do a selection, because I can control where I want to edit. And so it won't, my edits won't spill over into a different area. Okay. Now, we're going to take a look at this, and then you might think it's a little bit funky, and I'll show you how to kind of fudge it and correct it. All right, so what happens after you do this, you may get a line like this, okay? And so you can do the same thing, whereas I'm going to select this tone here and then blend it in to the rest of the tone. And that kind of works because you have a low flow, because you're just kind of spray painting it in and kind of creating your own gradual fade. Okay, now you're going to go in and then you're going to see a bunch of lines like this, right? But what you could do is simply take a smaller brush and kind of edit this so it doesn't look so regular across the line. And so you're just kind of making it look a tad natural. Again, this magnification is so close that most people aren't going to really examine the hair this close, especially if it's on Instagram. Just to make it look like it's not so regular, okay? And so if you look back, you could say, oh yeah, it's totally cleaned up. Now, I'm going to enhance this hair even more. I'm going to show you a little trick that I do that helps enhance the shape. You want to enhance the shape of your subject. And part of that shape is the hair. So I'm going to do a selection, this hair area, okay? And then I'm going to go to liquefy. Now, the reason why I make a selection first and not go straight to liquefy is if I do a selection like I just did, the computer is saying, okay, you just want to liquefy this small area of the photo. And therefore it takes, since a liquefy is a very intense processing, if I'm just selecting a small part of it, my computer is going to operate more efficiently and faster. If I select the entire image, it might slow down your photo. Now, what I want to do in Liquify is, I see this little finger here. It allows me to puff up and shape my subject. So you have to kind of choose the right size here. And I want to just puff up that hair, you know, kind of make it look like she just came out of like the stylist just did her hair, and it just creates a little bit of volume there, right? It's like, oh yeah, I just came out of the salon or from my stylist, and this looks great. And so that just gives it a little bit of volume and shape. I'm not a hairstylist, so if you probably, you know, people who are stylists or people who do their hair, who have long hair. I don't have super long hair. You guys know how to make it look good. Okay, so that's a little trick that I do, right? And so you can kind of see the difference, right? Just making it look a little bit better. Okay, and fine-tuning it. What else do we got here? All right, so let's just enhance this dress a bit, as if that this dress was kind of skin tight. Okay, so I can do the same thing around this, and they do this in fashion magazines a ton. And what I can do is take this little area here and do the same thing, liquefy, and I can just enhance this shape just a bit. So I can just tuck in this. Let me just make this a little bit smaller. Right, and I can even enhance this a bit too. You don't want to go too crazy. Just kind of like how I make it taller. It's the same kind of concept, right? And so now I've got a little bit more of a shape. Let me go back in. Filter, liquefy. You might have to do this back and forth. Now, the problem here is I can't push this part in. So if I have it too far in, it doesn't look as natural. So, you know, you just gotta have to mess around with things and kind of just learn what looks natural. Okay, so that's pretty good there. Actually, I'm not that happy with it again. Hold on. So let me do liquefy again. What I want to do is just round this out a little bit so it's less aggressive. Here. And so it just looks a bit natural. Okay, there you go. So let's see what we got here from that, right? Yeah, it just enhances it a little bit, which looks great.